Okay, take two. Take two. Let's see how this one goes. Changed up a few things. Sorry about that, peeps. We tried this earlier. It didn't go too smoothly. Let's see how this one goes. We get a few people in the chat, and we'll see how this one unfolds. Hopefully, this one goes a little bit better. Wi-Fi is normally brilliant here, but for some reason tonight, it's just choosing not to work properly. But, you know me, you got to soldier on. You got to soldier on. We'll change up the subject. We'll talk about some Eubank Jr. We'll talk about Eubank Jr. Because Eubank Jr. is going to be looking at Billy Joe versus Canelo and thinking, yeah, Billy Joe, you know, he's been having his say. So I want to know what you guys think. Billy Joe, now that he's had a shot with Canelo, Eubank Jr. seems like he wants to step in there and see how he'll get on against Canelo. I sure as hell wouldn't put a penny on him winning. But you know what Eubank Jr. is like? Eubank Jr. is interesting to me. I find Eubank Jr. a very interesting character because he talks very confident, right? You ever notice that about Eubank Jr.? He's very confident the way he comes across, right? So put it like this. Do you remember when he fought George Groves in the build-up to that fight? It was nothing but confidence. But when he got in the ring on fight night, that confidence, that aura of confidence that he's shown wasn't there. So I do wonder with Eubank, and you got to wonder, is it a front or what is it? Or is it a lapse in something? Because I find it quite interesting. I find it quite interesting just to look at Eubank Jr. from a psychological point of view. He was signed with PBC in 2019, and Jesus, do you remember in 2019 what Al Heyman had planned for the UK? He started PBC UK. He wanted to do however many shows a year, something like a good few shows. He done one. That was it. But the whole way through, it was a constant case of, Canelo, or not Canelo, it was Eubank versus Charlo, so much to the point where he actually fought on Charlo's undercard. And the whole time they were mentioning Charlo, it was always in the background. Like Charlo was saying, look, I'll fight Eubank, this, that, and the other. That seemed to be the plan. But with Eubank, it was always, yeah, Canelo. Yeah, I'll fight Canelo. Yeah, where's Canelo? So I think Eubank really wants that fight. For whatever reason, he really wants the Canelo fight. Obviously, most people do because it's a massive payday. But I just always found it real interesting that Canelo wanted, or that Eubank really is just, he is dying for that Eubank or that Canelo fight. And I actually have the wrong avatar. Why do I have that as an avatar? Yeah, there we go. Ainsley Harriet, there you go. Big up to Joe. Am I the first in the building? How you doing? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great as always. Eubank Jr., not hope against Canelo. That fight would sell, though, in the UK. I'm not too sure about the US. That fight would sell in the UK. For whatever about Eubank Jr., he draws. Like Eubank Jr., for whatever you want to say about him, he does draw an audience, whether it be good or bad. He does draw an audience. Now, Eubank Jr., as J Dev sounds down here, that's an interesting point. Eubank has already passed his best and is now confused about what style to adopt. Roy is no good for him. Do you know what I think is the problem with Eubank Jr.? And it's exactly what you said there. He spent the majority of his career going off athleticism, using athleticism. But now, Eubank Jr. is what? He's 31, going on 32. I think that some of that athleticism is going to wane. And I think now he's trying to box. But the problem with Eubank Jr. is he was never taught those fundamentals early on in his career. And I don't think it's going to do him any good now learning the box. I think that now he's kind of caught between two styles. And to be honest with you, Roy Jones, I remember doing a video on Eubank and Jones very early on when they first started working together. And I remember people were saying, what the hell are you talking about? When I said that Roy Jones probably won't be the best idea, won't be the best trainer for him moving forward, because Roy Jones, even in his prime, as good as a prime Roy Jones was, and a prime Roy Jones was brilliant, make no mistake about that, he made a hell of a lot of mistakes technically. He was never the most technically sound fighter. He was just athletic as hell, punching power, so fast. What Eubank Jr. needs is someone who is the polar opposite, someone who didn't rely on his athleticism, who could teach him the fundamentals. I think now he's kind of stuck between, do I box? Do I move? Do I just do what I used to do, which is pressure? Eubank Jr. is a pressure fighter. That's essentially what his style is, you know? Well, I say a pressure fighter. He's not, he's good when someone comes at you, we can let the uppercuts go. But when he has to physically go hunting you down, even when he boxes, he doesn't look that effective, you know? And he looked in there against Marcus Morrison. He looked a bit all over the place. Looked like he was caught between, you know, he looked like he was caught between styles, to be honest with you. And I don't know if that's going to improve at all. And I don't know really what he's going to do moving forward. As J Dev says there earlier, or that's his comment on screen, is it a case of he's too long in the tooth now to really learn a new style? You know, because how old? Look, I'm gonna look him up here. How old exactly is Eubank? I think he's 31. He's 31 years old. He is, yeah, he's 31. It doesn't say when he's going to be 32. But you got to imagine at this stage now, Eubank Jr. has probably hit his athletic peak. It's probably going to wane a bit from then on. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting that he's trying this now, but I don't think it's going to do him any good. And I think that he's been talking about Canelo for the last couple of years. Part of me figures, is he looking to maybe just get that payday and just sail off? It's a weird one. Big up to TT. Hope all is good. Hope all is good so long as the Wi-Fi stays good, because that's what messed up the last one. You know, I had the tie-in boot issues like he had the other night where the Wi-Fi just said no mass. But so far, I've done a few little tests. What I did is I didn't just switch the stream straight back on after it fecked up the first time. I just went and did a video. I uploaded that video. It's unlisted, by the way. I'll just list it tomorrow morning. You can see it then. And that done fine. So it looks like we're all good. Canelo versus Beterbiev. What do you think that'd be like? I can't see Canelo taking a Beterbiev fight until we see some. I think at 175, right? I think Canelo's going to wait, be undisputed at 168, and maybe defend that title, and then go up to 175 because he's already fought out at there once before. But I think 175 is going to be a division where Canelo really does, almost a bit like Floyd Mayweather, really does be that little bit more cautious. And I think that until we see some serious chinks in the armor, all right, until we see some serious chinks in the armor from Beterbiev, he's probably going to be, I'm not going to say he's not going to fight, but he might be reluctant to take that fight. Because Beterbiev is a straight up killer at 175. You know, he's heavy-handed. He's good technically. Beterbiev lives the life. For whatever you want to say, he lives the life. He lives the absolute life in there. All right? He lives the life in there. G-Man, you're now the king of simps. Ain't no king of simps, female boxing. What were your level of excitement with Sandy Ryan signing from Matchroom? I seen that. I don't know much about Sandy Ryan, mate, to be honest with you. I don't know much about Sandy Ryan. But ain't no king of simps. Ain't no king of simps. You know me. I'm all G with that. But yeah. Well, the next person I interview, I'm going to try and get a male fighter on. I'll see who I can. I have a few guys I know. I'll see if I'll definitely do a male next time. I'll definitely get a male fighter on the channel next time. It'd be a good laugh with some of them female fighters that one. Sounds like AJ Fury will be 10 p.m. UK time. That's a decent time. 10 p.m. I think AJ Ruiz was like 9 p.m. But either way, they're still handy, mate. Okay, what do you think of Teofimo? Who do you think? Do you think Teofimo will fight the winner of Taylor Ramirez? If so, who do you think? Well, in Taylor Ramirez, I've got Josh Taylor winning the fight. I'm going to get the prediction video out in the next few days. All right, I've got a few videos planned for the next few days. I have 2 that I uploaded just before here. They'll go out tomorrow. I'm interested in that fight. I think Taylor's going to win. And I think that if Teofimo Lopez did fight Josh Taylor, I think Josh Taylor would win the fight. I think Ramirez, there's a lot of people who are saying Josh Taylor's going to go in there and just steamroll Ramirez. Absolutely no way in hell. I like Josh Taylor. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's going to win, but he is no way going to steamroll Jose Ramirez. Ramirez is a very good fighter. He can box on the inside. He can punch a bit. He's great fundamental. Jose Ramirez is a good fighter. I was always a bit kind of about Ramirez. I remember his fight against Zepeda. Zepeda is an excellent fighter in his own right. But when I saw him fight Maurice Hooker, I really saw a lot of good things in there from Jose Ramirez. That was not a competitive fight, by the way, if you've ever seen that. He really beat the living crap out of Maurice Hooker. And that for me was, when I saw that, I was like, you know what, this guy, when he really raised his game, there's levels to this guy's game. So I think he's going to give Josh Taylor a world of issues in there. Wouldn't be at all shocked if he beats him. I won't be picking him to beat him, though. I think Josh Taylor's going to win it. I reckon it's going to be a close, unanimous decision. Might even be a majority decision. Eubank was nervous against Billy Joe too in the fight. I actually picked him to win. Do you know something? I remember the time when he fought Billy Joe, and you weren't alone in that. A lot of people were picking Eubank Jr. to win. In fact, a lot of people from what I remember were picking Eubank Jr. to stop Billy Joe at the time when that fight happened. Says, I remember that fight. I remember the build of that fight well. Eubank was really he had those kind of fights early on in his career where he looked a bit dodgy. And then he started looking that little bit better. And I remember at the time, a lot of people were saying it's either going to be Billy Joe on points or it's going to be Eubank Jr. to stop him. And if anything, and here's the thing about Billy Joe, right? If people want to say, he's been super middleweight, this is a prime example. People said Eubank Jr. was too small to fight at super middleweight. We'll go back and watch Billy Joe versus Eubank Jr. and you tell me who the bigger guy in the ring looked. It was Eubank. Eubank Jr. looked like a middleweight in there, and Billy Joe Saunders looked like a light middleweight. All right, and Billy Joe Saunders competing at 168 pounds. Billy Joe could have been a two-weight world champion if he wanted to at 154 and 160. He just never had the discipline to get down to 154, and he would have been useful at that weight. Billy Joe will be back out this year. Oh, I can't see him being back out this year, mate. Honestly, I reckon he's out for a good year and a half. He's out of action for this whole year, I reckon. Balloon up and wait like he does. Then a few tune-up fights. May look lackluster. Then when he's ready to step up, has no belt, low risk, high risk. Yeah, that's exactly it. So Billy Joe, if Billy Joe wants to fight again, I think Eubank Jr. is the best bet. Big fight here in the UK. Probably do that on pay-per-view. Best thing he's going to get. Because I can't see him getting another title shot. I really don't know what the crack is. I really don't know what the crack of Billy Joe Saunders will be moving forward. He might not even fight again. God only knows. Because I always thought Billy Joe, even back as far back as 2019, I thought he'd 1 foot out the door in boxing. I really did. Eubank might have a chance against Triple G because I don't think so. I think Golovkin would just jab Eubank Jr.'s head off. I think even now Triple G would just use his jab, and we've seen Eubank Jr. when you put it on, when you box him, Eubank Jr. he doesn't really have a plan B. I think Golovkin will just put it on him with the jab, and that would see him through. I big up to Nick every time. Big up to Nick. Third time lucky. Yeah, well, I done one today, man, and I was absolutely pissed off that it fucking kept dying. But if you could smash the like button on the way in. I seen Dell there actually. Where's his comment? Yo, shout out to Blue Collar. Big up to Dell. Big up to Lee Selby every time. Finally caught a live stream. Big up, Dell. Yeah, big up to you, my man. Also to me, Billy Joe Saunders is a fat middleweight. He's not. No. I couldn't believe it when they actually announced he was going to 168. I was like, what the actual fuck? And he looks horrible at that weight. And he actually looks fleshy at that weight. Because I look at him in the ring. Like, you could see there was still a bit of flab there. So you could see that he's not cut at 168. Even back down at 160. Like, 160 is his ideal weight. It really is. That's his ideal weight. G-Man see. Oh, yeah. Do you remember that? I couldn't believe that. I gave him like 10 pounds and he's like, yeah, you're always donating. What's your bank balance like? I was like, what the fuck? But to be honest with you, I'm like that. Like, I don't really have many expenses, what I mean by that is I don't really spend much money on things. Like, I get kind of, what do I really spend it on? Like, I don't really spend it on anything. The money I get is kind of like, I'm working from home, so I don't spend it on diesel. There's no gyms opened. Don't really get food the odd time. I don't really spend it on anything. So why not give like Dell or Ty M Boost, a super chat here and there? It's funny. And, it's thanks to that super chat that I have my piss bottle intro. So, big up to that. The intro where he just says shout out the G-Man is good, but the piss bottle intro is tops. Ain't no one gonna top that intro. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there. But yeah, he was grateful for the donations. I only gave him the 2. I only gave him the 15 quid. I think I gave him like 10 quid and then I gave him like 5.50. So 15 quid, 3 bottles of Echo Falls on me. There you go. Enjoy it. Marcus Morrison landed some flush shots against Eubank. Not too many, but enough to make you shudder at what. I mean, Marcus Morrison picked up rounds in there against Eubank, and there was rounds there that were competitive early on. And you just think to yourself, right, Marcus Morrison would get sent home from an Alvarez training camp, probably after a day. So what in God's name could Canelo do to Eubank Jr.? He would light Eubank. He'd take Eubank Jr.'s head clean off his shoulders. You'd still like to see Khan versus Brook. Oh, man, they're both still entertaining. Do you know what, right? For kind of nostalgic reasons, I wouldn't mind seeing it just because, right? I just think of when they were talking about that fight originally, like 2014, what I was doing back then. I was kind of thinking, just for nostalgic reason, but both guys are shot to pieces. I mean, Kell Brook, I think, is worse off than Amir Khan, if that's even possible. But for some reason, I'd watch it. I wouldn't pay for it, though. I wouldn't pay for it, but I would watch it. I would still watch it. Tyen Boot did 3 lives in the end last night. He's after your bank back. Well, I only gave him 2 chats, mate. I only gave him 2 chats. So, But he's invested in the old crypto. I finally got into it now, mate. I finally got into investing in the old crypto. I've had a few people give me a few tips and we're going down. I went out and specifically got a Revolut card just to do it. Because they were saying, just do it with Revolut. It's easier. So your boy he's taking advice and he's going on the crypto market. G-Man, I honestly see Fury making the Joshua fight so uncompetitive the fight won't be worth the build-up. I'll tell you now, mate, if there's one thing I can't see in that fight, it's that it's one-sided on either end. I can't see that. I think that both guys will make that fight competitive. I think that Fury and Joshua, I think both guys will play into each other's strengths and weaknesses. I think it's going to be a great fight. If there's one thing I can't see, is that fight being one-sided either way. The AJ fans will tell you it's going to be one-sided for AJ. The Fury fans will tell you it's one-sided for Fury. I'm telling you now, whoever wins that fight is not going to have an easy time. They will come out of that fight saying, you know what, I was in a fucking fight. So whoever wins is not going to have an easy time. I'm edging towards Fury, but it could go either way. It literally could go either way. You can predict, there's loads of things in that fight you could say, I don't know what will happen. I don't know how Fury will be with the inactivity. I don't know how AJ will be with kind of the Ruiz defeat, because that's still probably playing on his mind. I don't know about but one thing I know for sure is that fight is competitive. And there is no way one guy is going to take a foothold on that fight and win. No way. No way. Wait. Ethereum and Bitcoin down 11% today. Well, I've invested in neither of them. I didn't invest in either of them. I seen a tweet from O'Hara Davis where he said that Elon Musk, did he throw Bitcoin under the bus? So that might have something to do with it. No, I haven't invested in either of them. If you could, lads, smash the like button. 40 in the chat. If you could, smash the like button. Just, helps your boy out. Keeps your boy going. Keeps the channel getting out there. It helps out. I remember someone in the last live stream before it fucked up asked me about Michael Hunter. And that was interesting. Like, Michael Hunter, the minute I heard that he was fighting on Triller, I was like, money. That is literally it. Because those guys are paying big. They're paying George Kambosos Jr. between, I think, is it like 1.5 to 2 mil? So the minute I heard that, I was like, whoever's going to be fighting on Triller is going to be getting well paid, because Kambosos Jr. is a good fighter, but he's not worth the amount he's getting paid. So when I heard that Michael Hunter would be fighting Mike Wilson, who's a cruiserweight, Mike Wilson fought Lebedev a couple of years ago, 2018 in Monaco. And Lebedev, that was an over-the-hill Lebedev. And Lebedev won every round, won it comfortably. So when I saw that, I was like, why in God's name is he fighting this guy who couldn't beat an over-the-hill Lebedev a couple of years ago? But then I heard it was on Triller, and I was like, all right, that makes sense. He's going to get, imagine this. Just imagine this, right? He is probably going to get probably double what he would have got for fighting Hrgovic, fighting this Mike Wilson guy on Triller. That is the problem right there. You know, he is going to get double what he's worth. He's going to get double the pay probably that he would have got for fighting Hrgovic to fight Mike Wilson. I mean, where's the incentive, I suppose? Like, fight Mike Wilson, easy enough fight. Get God knows how much. Fight Hrgovic, tough fight, don't get near as much. Where's the incentive? Oh shit, I didn't read that comment. Have you seen the Boxing Fight Club game that's being made? Looks really good. 200 bucks already signed up. Yeah, I seen it, mate, but I've never really been, like, I played the fight clubs, but I've never really been interested in them now, to be honest with you. I've never really been interested in them. So I'll buy this one and I'll play it. And who knows? I think Dell suggested that, you know, a couple of us play with some subscribers. I definitely do that, but I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'll buy it, but am I excited? Not really. Because I've never really enjoyed it. Like, I like playing like Fight Club and stuff like that, but something about the feel of it I don't like it. Eubank is overrated. It's hilarious. It's hilarious what he's done to earn a big Canelo fight, even with a world title. He's awful. If you have a good jab, you win. He's terrible. Oh yeah, if you're anyway decent, have a decent jab, use your height and reach. He really has no plan B. It is amazing to think how well he's managed himself, though. I mean, say what you want to say about his ability. Yeah, he's not the greatest fighter in the world. To be able to have such a limited amateur background, to be able to make the kind of money he's made, he's managed himself well. I'll give him that. Yeah, Ben Davison training Devin Haney. I didn't see that coming either. To be fair, I do think that I do think Ben Davison is a decent trainer. I do. It's interesting what you said about Billy Joe Saunders, that he was the one who decided to pull him out. I've done a video on that. You'll see it in the morning. And I'd find that interesting because he's saying Billy Joe wanted to go out. All right, fair enough. But Billy Joe didn't seem too bothered, you know, when they announced that he would pull them out. That's what I will say. There was no... It's different if you... if you look at Buddy McGurk when he pulled out that Maxime fighter, the guy who sadly passed away, I can't remember his last name, he still wanted to go out in that 12th round. Even though God only knows what was happening like inside. But there was no complaints from Billy Joe. Not a one. So when he says that, and bear in mind, he's the assistant coach. Surely Mark Tibbs, who was the main coach, would have been able to say, no. I'm having a say on this. You're not going out. You're staying here or you're going out. But he didn't. So we'll wait and see how that one falls. But I tell you now, I think Ben Davison is trying to take the heat off Billy Joe and say, well, he didn't call it. I called it. Well, it didn't look that way to me. You know, if you get it, G-Man, I'm calling you out. Dell, what are you on? What one are you on? Because I'm an Xbox guy, but I'm getting the PS5 when they start making good games for it. Me and you, there you go. Blue Collar Sport versus G-Man, there you go. Me and you will do it. Whichever console you get, whichever one you're on, I'll play. I don't mind. But I'll definitely play you. Dell versus G. Blue Collar versus G-Man boxing, there you go. Let's make it happen. You know, don't do a Michael Hunter and say you want this, say you're ready for it, and then the minute I, get it, you decide, you know what, I'm going to play Unrivaled instead. It's not how you do it, man. It's not how you do it, and I'll hold you up to that. Apparently, Hunter would have gotten 360 for the Hrgovic fight, and you'd imagine he's going to get probably double that. Seriously, he's probably going to get double that for fighting Wilson on Triller. Triller pays silly money to fight, and yeah. They have deep pockets, and I'm all for seeing fighters get paid, but Jesus. I was saying Intangible, a shout out to Intangible, he just hit 600 subscribers. He tweeted something that Michael Hunter responded to one of his tweets before Christmas saying, I have no fear, I'll knock this Hrgovic guy out. You know, mark my words. And it's like, well, that age bad. When a boxer tells his trainer, what is it? When a boxer tells his trainer he can't see, is the code for I want out. I think that, look, Ben Davison could say what he wants. I think if Billy Joe wasn't, you know what, he wasn't exactly appealing. What does that say? I believe Microsoft plus Nintendo plus Google plus Playmore Sony should join forces to make an ultimate console together. It would be awesome. See, I'm not as much of a gamer as I used to be. When I was a kid, I used to game a lot when I was like in my teens, like 2010. And Dell, me and you were in around the same age. You'd know this. 2010, you come home from school, you play Call of Duty Modern Warfare with your mates, and everything is legit. And one of my friends used to have like a dial-up. Well, it wasn't dial-up, but if you rang his house phone, his Wi-Fi would cut. So he'd be on a really good kill streak and Call of Duty. You ring up that phone, he'd come back on about 5 minutes later. All right, who was it? G-Man bankroll and tie-ins, Echo Falls addiction. I've seen lads give him 50 quid, and not just Mark. I've seen other guys give him 50 quid for just talking absolute garbage. Keep him talking, keep him drinking. Billy Joe is a fat middleweight, exactly what he is. Ill-disciplined. Billy Joe would beat Eubank easier this time, but I think too much pride to even give him a chance. If Billy Joe wants one last payday, he'd definitely fight Eubank Jr. Definitely. He'll make some decent... That fight would do decent money in the UK. It definitely have full attendance. Definitely, because I think Billy Joe's out of action for at least a year. At least a year, I reckon, he's going to be out of action for with that eye. So by the time he comes back, hopefully we have full attendance by summertime. Hopefully. But definitely next year. I mean, they can't play the charade any longer. People are bad, but they're not that bad. You think the reason Billy Joe's over the broke because he was weight drained? Hell no. If there's one thing Billy Joe isn't at that weight, it's weight drained. He lost too much weight in a short space of time and was drained out to make weight. No. I think it was just a very well-placed shot by Canelo. I think Canelo has good punch and power. I think at 168, if there's one thing Billy Joe isn't, mate, it's weight drained. You know, he's not a natural 168-pounder. For me, I wouldn't say weight drained at all. You know, he's not natural at that weight, so he's not really having to exert himself to make that weight. It could be a variety of things. Like Canelo caught him just well. You know, Canelo does have extra hand wrap on his wraps, and those no boxing, no life gloves are meant to be punching gloves. They're very low padding. Variety of things. Canelo can hit hard as well. I think it was just a very well placed shot that caused that injury. Yeah, I think that's exactly what, just a very well placed shot that caused the injury. Because look, you look at Daniel Dubois, he wasn't. The heavyweights definitely aren't weight trained, but a similar injury. Obviously, he took a lot more shots, but still got an Xbox 360 cutting edge gamer. Yeah, I still have one in my bedroom. I fire it up from time to time. I have some old games for that, but I've been playing Xbox for the last 10 plus years. So to go back to PlayStation is going to feel weird, but I'm probably going to do it this year. Do you think that Lovejoy will actually follow through with his fight or pull out the last minute again? Well, the weigh-in's tomorrow. If memory serves me right, he got to I think he got to the day of the weigh-in against Dave Allen and then pulled out. So we'll have to wait and see. You never know with this guy. You never know with Lovejoy. Do you know he's actually favourite in this fight? I've seen a few bookies have him down as the favourite against Manuel Charr, which I think is hilarious. I know Charr has had inactivity, and even before, you know, he fought Ustinov, he was past his best. But even now, unless Manuel Charr has regressed so much in the last 3 years, unless he really is just an absolute shell of his former self, he should have enough to beat Christopher Lovejoy. In all honesty, you'd probably pick Bermain Stavern. I would, over Lovejoy at this stage. I'd imagine Manuel Charr still has just about enough to get through Lovejoy. In terms of him pulling out, he's made references to Don King. He's, you know, I think he put up a picture of Donald Duck because Don King's trying to get, you know what, he's trying to get like this fight pulled. When they weigh in, then I'll know we have a fight, hopefully. Well, even then, you never know. But I think we'll see this fight. I actually can't wait. I just want to find a stream for this because I'm not sure where it's shown. I'll be emailing Mark. I'll be going on to everyone. I'll be WhatsApping Mark and everyone to try and get a stream for this fight. But Lovejoy, Jesus Christ, people. It's weird. Like, we're actually going to get to see Chris Lovejoy in the ring and see just how bad this guy is. See what all the legends of him are true. You're lumping on Manuel Charr. Even a shot Charr is surely level to. Yeah, that's exactly it, Del. And bear in mind, like, Charr was shot. Manuel Charr was shot probably when he fought Povetkin. Probably when he fought Povetkin, he was probably seeing better days. That's what, 6 years ago. So even now, he's still definitely got enough to beat Lovejoy. He's definitely seen better days, but you don't need to have seen many days, this good days to beat Lovejoy. Can Lovejoy even fight? I don't know, because there's no footage of him. The only footage I've seen of Lovejoy is a little snippet of a fight in Mexico when the guy kept falling down. I've seen him hit the bag with Buddy McGurk. And you know when you can see a trainer's own eyes just kind of drop? And it's just like, oh, this guy. That was Buddy McGurk's reaction when he saw that. So it's a bit suspicious. He done the same for... You see, that's the worry, because he done the same for Dave Allen. He said for the Dave Allen fight, he hadn't trained. He hadn't got a trainer. He was literally just coming for the paycheck, and the fight never happened. And I'm afraid the same thing is going to happen this time, that he's just coming to just turn up, make an absolute show of everyone, and then, not fight. Lovejoy is John Fury level. Jesus. Maybe even then, that's probably a competitive fight, mate, to be honest with you. John Fury, even now at this stage. My favorite tie-in quote: my father died of cancer and spent the last month of his life watching Cocklebox. You can't make this shit up. Oh, man. Big up to tie-in boot. You know what? I don't mind giving him the super chats whatsoever, because he just is so flipping entertaining. The stuff he comes out with. Like, I laughed. I had to laugh when he was on about the iPhone. And then he was just like, a little kid got whipped to make this iPhone. Then he started laughing. He was like, you kids getting whipped. Or he doing the American accent. He's like, when he was telling people not to donate to McClellan, and his sister messaged him, yo, man, you need to back the fuck up off Gerald McClellan, man. Oh, tie-in boot. Absolute legend. Absolute legend. They're showing Lovejoy versus Charr on the Comedy Network. Remember David Hay, when he made his comeback? He was fighting on Dave. That's a comedy station. Now, they show old comedians. They show like Mock the Week and stuff like that. That's absolutely hilarious that like David Hay made his comeback on that station. But yeah, that's a comedy fight. The tie-in boots, a wrong gun, but hilarious. You can't not laugh at tie-in boot. He is funny as hell. Don't correct the bookies on the odds. We've got an opportunity here. Actually, fuck yeah. That's actually a good point. I actually want to check the odds again and just see, has he changed? Because I'm going to stick some money on Manuel Charr. If he's the underdog and there's a bit of decent money to be made on Manuel Charr, I want to stick a bit of money on him. Probably by stoppage. Because we don't know what Lovejoy's chin is like. I mean, the guy is 38 years old. Never had a serious fight. Never had an amateur fight. Never seen any of his footage. Hasn't fought absolutely nobody. Let's have a look-see at some. Let's go on Paddy Power. And have a mosey. And have a little mosey on Christopher Lovejoy. Or let's have a mosey on this. Before I do that, someone was asking me about crypto. What crypto? What coins have I invested in? I'll tell you now in 2 seconds, mate. I just want to check something here. All right. Just wanted to check the odds there. So the coin that I'm invested, I was told it's called Tierra. So it's TERRA. All right. It's at about £36 now. So I was told to give that one a go. That's seemingly quite a good little shot. So that's the one I've been investing in. As I said, it's TERRA. So give that one a look and have a look at that one. That's literally the only reason why I got a Revolut card, was to invest. Because a friend of mine works in the bank and he works in loans and he does a bit of investing as well. And he said, whatever you do, don't use it from your own bank account. Because the first thing when you're going for a loan, or if you're ever looking at a loan, they'll be like, what the hell did you invest in this for? So he said, you're best off to get a Revolut card. So that's exactly what I did. And that's what I started in. I got a tip to start putting it on that. So that's exactly what I did. Do I watch Porky's Corner? Not really, mate, to be honest with you. I think honestly, I don't think I've seen one. I don't think I've heard of him, all right. I've heard he's called out guys like Hatman and stuff like that. But in terms of actually watching him, I don't think I've ever seen one of his videos. Don't think I've ever sat through one of his videos. Literally rings no bells. I know of his channel, but I've never watched one of it. From what I've seen or what I've glanced at, like briefly been told, it's not really at it that it's not for me. Put it like that. Nothing against the guy, but his content wouldn't be for me. 8 cents. So I haven't shouted you out yet. Big up to 8 cents. Only footage I've seen a lot of was someone posted a thing on Discord about the first time they saw him throw a punch. Yeah, that was the right hand. That was the right hand. That was the right hand with what was the guy's name? What was the guy's name? Buddy McGurk. Buddy McGurk. Hang on a sec. Because someone told me. I'll try and see if I can find the Manuel Charr versus Lovejoy odds. See who's doing it. Latest odds. Try and see if I can find a betting website where they're doing, because a few people have said that he's the favorite, but it's not telling me here. It's not fucking telling me where the odds are. Odds to win. Lovejoy is 1-1 to win, and Char is 2-1 to win. I believe 2-1 means you're the underdog, which is bizarre, but they're quite close odds. Probably William Hill. See if William Hill are doing it. I haven't used William Hill in a while. I'm sure because they put up some crazy odds. No mention of Lovejoy on Bet365. Probably on William Hill, to be honest with you, because people, I think, was it Squared's videos, Boxing Squared, or someone definitely said in a video I watched that they seen betting websites putting like money on this fight with Lovejoy as the favorite. And if he is the favorite, then there's money to be made. Although saying that, I thought there was money to be made on Denzel Bentley. Oh boy, was I wrong with that. Me and Dell, we both got that one way wrong. Can't see the odds on Lovejoy. I'm trying to find it here, mate. I'm trying to find it here. Because, like I said, if he's the favorite, then I'm slapping money on. Hang on a minute now. Here we go. That's bizarre. Even William Hill don't have this fight down. Fuck's sake, where did I see the... I definitely seen it. I think it was this morning. I watched the video on that, and there was people saying that there was betting websites that had Lovejoy as the favorite. I can't fucking find them. Once I finish this stream, I'll have a good mosey, and I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it, definitely. Can't even find the odds on the odds checker. It's definitely, I seen a video this morning where someone said he was the favorite. I think it might have been Boxing Squared's video. Unless in New Zealand they do different odds or something like that. But if I could find odds on this fight, you bet your bottom dollar your boy is going to put some money on it. The odds checker will give you the best deal. For fuck's sake, I can't even find it. I go on the odds checker. That's right there a sec. Let's checker for boxing. I haven't done one of these in a while where I go and look at the odds. I used to do that all the time on live streams. I haven't done it in ages. Big up to MVG. Big up to Kevin. Hello, G-Man. You think Canelo could go, oh, wow, yeah, just collect them all, go for the IBO? Who is the IBO champion at 160? Is it Murata? I think Murata might have it, but yeah, never mind the IBO. We don't count that. That is crazy. Yeah, even the odds checker don't have this fight down. That is bizarre. That I will find out. I will find if they have that bet somewhere. But for now, it's looking like I can't find it. I've heard, isn't Charr like 40? Charr is old, man. Char's seen better days. He's had failed PED tests as well. Even still, he should still win. He should still win. Do you see AJ being a dominant champion? Define dominance. Like, I mean, he's beaten who's been put in front of him. He's lost and he's avenged it. I'd like to see him fight, someone like an Usyk as well. If he beat Fury, if he fought Usyk, I'd be like, holy shit. But AJ to me has always been beatable, and he knows himself he's beatable. It's just who can put it all together on the night. I think AJ himself, even prior to Andy Ruiz, he knew he was beatable always. But we'll wait and see. Maybe the fight's been cancelled, or perhaps we're all just imagining it. Well, apparently he's come with no trainer, no anything. So we'll wait and see. Maybe he's going to do what he did against Dave Allen, pull it at the last minute. Dave Allen can always step in. We need to get that fight made. He's meant to be coming back in July. Jesus, people. Dale, you were spot on. He couldn't stay away, not even a year. Like, literally, he was retired for 5 months? He announced he'd retire in November, and he's back already come April? And he's had a hip replacement. Jesus. Gongora is IBO. The IBO means nothing, mate. And he's been shot. Yeah, he's been shot for years, mate. Absolutely years he's been shot for. So I want to go back on some of these chats. I missed a good few of these. Would I like to see it happen this year? I probably missed. I was probably talking about something different when you said that. Conor Benn versus Eubank Jr. Is it a fight that could happen? No way in hell. Conor Benn, and you're talking years down the road, might go up to 154 pounds. I say might, because he's a small welterweight. He really is a 140-pound fighter, Conor Benn. I remember when he turned pro, that was the weight they said he'd be fighting at. And I remember after one of his early fights, he said, yeah, I should be fighting at 140 pounds, but I've been lifting a lot of weights. I enjoy lifting weights. I'm going to stick at welter. And I think that really is not a good idea. I think that Conor Benn, he's improved a lot more than Jesus. I mean, Conor Benn, after his first few fights, I thought, holy shit, this kid would be lucky to win a British title. He's done a lot better now. He's definitely more improved. He looks better than Campbell Hatton did. Campbell Hatton to me looks very poor. I know he's only had 2 fights, but Jesus Christ, he looks poor. They need to really they're going to have to build him up extremely slow. I think Campbell Hatton looks, because with Conor Benn, you could see little bits of athleticism there. You could see a few little things in Conor Benn. Still look raw, but Campbell Hatton just looks a different beast altogether in terms of rawness. I mean, the mistakes he makes, he gets clipped a bit too much. None of the guys he's fought have even had a win. They're really going to move him as slow as possible. They're going to move him at tortoise pace, slow. A sort of way. It's in Cologne, Germany. And Christian Hammer's on the undercard. That would have been a great fight. Well, not great, but that would have been a decent fight. Hammer versus Char. But no, we get Lovejoy. But we all want to see Lovejoy. Uppercut the like button. If you could, lads and lassies, appreciate it. If you did. We got 53 in the chat and 34 likes. It's not too bad. Let's try and get a 40. Yes, big up to Penny. Late but on a break. There you go. Listen to your boy on your break. I think that's what some people have said. They listen to us on the break. 51 in the chat. Let's make it 50 likes. Smash the like button. Support the channel. Yes, if you could, lads. It does help out your boy. Tell you one thing. The growth has been incredible over the last 2 weeks. Literally 3 weeks ago, I hit 4K. No, not even. 2 and a bit weeks ago, I hit 4K. I'm already at 4,210. That's pretty good going. That is pretty good going. That's pretty good going. To be able to, build the, get it going so much in the last few weeks. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. Pretty chuffed with that. What do I make of Michael Coffey? Very, very good looking prospect. I still think Jared Anderson is the best US prospect I've seen in a while. He looks absolutely fantastic. He really does. Jared Anderson is going to be... Do you know what, actually? I'd like to see, because they both fought on the same card, Jared Anderson versus Trey Lippy Morrison. Not because Lippy Morrison is good. He's not. But it's a decent name. It's a decent name to get. You've Tommy Morrison's son. That Trey Lippy Morrison versus Bugman fight was funny as hell. I mean, that fight really, that sums Trey Lippy Morrison up, having an absolute life and death battle, and the guy, you only win because the guy injures himself. That was fantastic. Oh, we got shot with a gun 4 times in a drive-by by an internet troll. Holy shit, I don't remember that. And I was 2015, 26, to put it like this, right? 2015, 2017 was like my peak in terms of my like prime for watching boxing. Like I was watching everything about boxing. Seriously, I was watching everything about boxing. Apparently Wadley versus Webb is on for cancer. I'm assuming you mean... No, actually, what do you mean? What month is it, mate? Wadley versus Webb's a decent fight. That's actually a big step up for Wadley. That's a big step up for... I actually thought they were going to do Webb versus Babbage. I thought they would have done Webb versus Babbage. If a bullet can't stop Charr, then Lovejoy certainly can't. But Del, we don't know. This guy, right, could be tricking us all. He could get in the ring and have Lomachenko type footwork. Right? He could get in the ring and have Deontay Wilder type punching power. He could have a Gerald McClellan chin. We just don't know. They say a bullet. Lovejoy could be stronger than the bullet, man. You know, you never know. You know? There's a reason why we haven't seen this guy. It's because he's been keeping us in the dark. Trey Lippy Morrison makes sense. Lippy Morrison is absolutely garbage, but he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. It's a bit like... It's like Car Crash TV when you watch Lippy Morrison. I remember he fought Byron Pauly and he looked absolutely shocking. And if you've never seen Byron Pauly, he's an absolute journeyman, but he's a terrible journeyman. Like you wouldn't put Fabio Wadley or a prospect in with fucking Byron Pauly. He's like a beer keg. And he looked terrible against Pauly. And Jesus, and that's the same guy. And big up to HP. Haven't watched much boxing since 2017. Yeah, like 15, 16, 17. Like I obviously wasn't making videos, but I was like, there was nothing about boxing I missed back then. Nowadays, like I still watch it a lot, but I don't like... Put it like this card on the weekend, and I'm indifferent about it. I'd sooner go... if I'm going to like see, you know who, I'd sooner drive up there, even if it is 2 hours away, just to see her rather than watch this card. Because I'm just like, Buatsi, they're keeping something from Buatsi because he's still fighting absolute cab drivers, you know, or unknown people who are unknown, and they've not stepped up at all. Who else is on that card? It's just like a next gen show. And apparently Lewis Ritson is going to headline Matchroom's last show with Sky. I forget who they said he's fighting, but apparently in June it's Lewis Ritson who's headlining Sky and Eddie Hearn's last show. So Lewis Ritson, the guy who got an absolute gift decision over Miguel Vasquez, he's headlining the last show. Disappointed in Campbell Hatton, but he's always going to have competition with his dad and Conor Benn progress. He did look like he was moving through, what does I say? Practically. Now, Campbell Hatton, look, when you have a dad like Ricky Hatton, you're always going to get opportunities because of the name. But Jesus Christ, you know, the only person I've seen who got opportunities who looks worse is Harley Benn. You've never seen Harley Benn fight. He looks shocking. And that's kind of similar to I think Campbell Hatton looks a little bit better than Harley Benn, but it's not much. And the problem is they're going to want to be very careful with Campbell Hatton, because I'm telling you now, you pick the wrong journeyman and he's got a bit of ambition and he can box to even a competent level. Campbell Hatton's going to be in for it. He's going to have a tricky time. Oh, that's a great fight against Takam. Both with no, he's not with Top Rank, is he? I know Takam is, but that's a great little fight. Takam is a gatekeeper, it's fair to say at this stage. But damn, Takam is still good. Give me a couple of months and I could probably beat Harley Benn too long. Did you ever see, right? The first time I ever saw Harley Benn, he fought a journeyman called Paul Cummins. And Paul Cummins, the one thing that stuck out about me, right, that stuck out with him was his neck. He was like, Del, he was like you, like long, right? Long and lean, right? But his neck, it was like, do you ever see Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Where the robot wins and it pops your man's neck up. He was like that. He had a neck, he had like an elongated neck that was just constantly in the air. So God help the lad. Any good uppercut you wouldn't miss with him. But he just started jabbing. And he was making Harley Benn look like, you know, look like he didn't know what was going on. And this is a journeyman with, I think, 1 win and 60-odd losses with an absolute rock'em sock'em robot neck. And he was able to make Harley Benn look good, look bad. I mean, you give you a bit of training and look, what weight does Harley Benn fight at? Is it 154? At a push, I could do that weight. Hell, I'd even fancy me chances. At a very hard push, I could do 154. That's Harley Benn in a nutshell. And he's going on Celebrity Love Island. Hearn was claiming his lineup for Buatsi Bivol. Can't, man, Buatsi ain't going to fight Bivol anytime soon. He ain't going to fight him anytime soon. Oh, but you mean fight camp? I think it's a good fight. I think that Nick Webb's come back from that Dave Allen and Sakalowski lost very well. Put together some good wins. Oh, man. You were ringside for Harley Benn's debut at York Hall. He won by stoppage, which tells you all you need to know about the opponent. Yeah, I remember that stoppage. I remember seeing highlights of that. And he fought that at super middleweight. Imagine that. He fought that at super middleweight and now he's trying to get down to welterweight. So that kind of tells you everything about that. But yeah, I remember the Paul Cummins fight well. I remember that fight well. Watching that. That was on BT Sport. And literally all that was jumping out to me was like, what's up with this guy's neck? It's like I said, it's like a rock'em sock'em robot neck. I was like, what's up with this lad's neck? Why is it so long? And how was he able to have so much fucking success in there against Harley Benn? Harley Benn was swinging for the fences. I remember that. That was funny as hell. Frank Warren's best ever card after 2015 was the Gale Truax. Yeah, that was a good little card, actually. Do you remember that? That was when... Who did he have on that card? He had Lee Selby. Did he have Daniel Dubois on it? That was a good little card, actually, to be fair, when he put that card on. That was decent. I don't think he's had a decent card since then. He's had Frampton Denaire. That was all right. But I don't think he's put on a really decent card since then. Not that I can think of anyway. Terry Flanagan and Maurice Hooker. He had Tyson Fury, Cephas Safiri. I was at the card in Belfast where he had Frampton, Fury, and Paddy Barnes. They're all right. Kid Galahad. What about Kid Galahad? He's meant to be fighting Jazza Dickens. Kid Galahad's a good fighter, but God almighty, he is boring to watch. So yeah, and HB, be safe. Be safe. Kid Galahad. tie-in boot reference. Someone keeps saying Kid Galahad. Big up to Kid Galahad. Don't really remember the answer. Depends on your pain threshold. You'll be fine. I missed the first question. Ajagba versus Dubois. Who do you favor? Dubois. Ajagba is so raw. And Ajagba's powerful as hell, but he's so open to that uppercut. Or so open to the getting countered with right hands. He's so open to it. Like when he comes in with his jab, he bores in with his chin in the air. So for me, I gotta give it to Dubois. At least Dubois is a little bit more technically sound. I think in terms of power, you'd say it's about equal. I think Dubois is probably more naturally heavy-handed, and F.A. Ajagba is more explosive. Dubois probably is the physically stronger. In fact, he's definitely the physically stronger of the two. I wonder about Ajagba's age. I think he's listed as being 25 years old, but you know the way Cubans and some, African, I think he's Nigerian. Well, Sam Peter, I believe, was Nigerian. And do you believe, and he's what, 40 years old? Do you really believe Sam Peter's 40 years old? I sure as hell don't. Hashtag bent legs. Coogan. Yeah, what was it, Dell? Was it Dell who gave Ty M Boot a super chat and was like, Coogan's legs are deformed? And that was funny. I think it was Dell, actually. It was like, yeah, he's basically disabled. You want to see Triple D versus Areola. Areola, I said this once, I'll say it again. Where was this Areola in his prime? He comes in somewhat decent shape. He makes an effort. He makes a go of it. Looks as good as we've seen him right at the very end of his career. Why didn't he just do this at the start? Why didn't he do this back in 2009? And bear in mind, he was a light heavyweight as an amateur. Why didn't he do this back at the start? Someone's asked a question about Joyce Usyk. I'll read that now in a sec, mate. Joyce Usyk. Tomorrow, you'll have my thoughts on that. You'll have my thoughts on it tomorrow. Yeah, big up to Rich. He's a KO weight. They'll need to be very, very careful with Ajagba. He knows himself that he has a lot of learning to do. And that chin is a question mark. That knockdown he suffered, that wasn't even a great shot. When a shot looks innocuous, but you can tell there's good power behind it. That wasn't the case. That definitely wasn't the case for the knockdown against I forget the guy's name, the Journeyman. Cummings' record is 2-48. You're having a close fight with him. I think, Harley Benn won that fight because he dropped them. Because there was a point in it. So if that knockdown hadn't happened, it would have been a draw. If you're having a very close fight with this guy, Paul Cummins, who's 2-48, I really don't hold out much hope for you. Sure, the guy he lost to was 0-16, and he got rocked in that fight. So Harley Benn seems like a nice kid. He seems like an okay lad, but just because your dad was a great boxer, fantastic fighter, doesn't mean you will. Look at Steve Collins Jr. Steve Collins Jr. is absolute garbage. And he turned pro because he thought, well, if my dad can do it, I can do it. If you've ever seen Steve Collins Jr. fight, holy mother of God. Look, Stevie seems a cool lad, but he is garbage. Oh my good Lord. He's trained by big old Pete Taylor, Don Taylor. Don Taylor is what? He's training. He's actually at Sky this weekend. He's training Tommy McCarthy. McCarthy's an interesting fighter. Very interesting. Everyone says they fight for legacy until Canelo shows up in their division. I think Caleb Plant has been, don't quote me on this, but it looks like he might be pricing himself out of the Canelo fight now, saying that he's not happy unless he gets his worth or something like that. It's like, your best win, probably Usyk guy. That's probably his best win. And you're saying now you're worth XYZ. Come on, man. Hey, come on, man. That's... Nah, man. Nah, man. Nah, man. The Harley Benn loss is now... Oh, my God. Really? I knew he was like 0-17, but Jesus. So he's not won since, and he's lost a further, 15 times? Jesus, man. That's not exactly good going. That really ain't exactly good going. Dell is read my mind. He's read my mind. They're hiding something with Joshua Buatsi. Something doesn't add up with the way he's being moved. Do you remember, Dell, when he was fighting in Team GB? And they were saying that out of all the guys who went to Rio 2016, Buatsi was the only guy they really saw talent in. Right? And I remember Sky saying they were going to move him fast. I remember all that. Oh, we're going to move him quick. We're going to do this. Well, he's not been. So for me, you got to ask the question as well, what is it? Did they see something that we don't? Is there something about Buatsi that they're worried? Because he has literally fought. Marco Calic was all right, but there has to be something there. And Buatsi makes a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. He really does. He makes a lot of mistakes defensively in there. And I reckon they are not going to put him in with anyone until they're absolutely convinced, yeah, we have all this ironed out. Because they're definitely hiding something. They definitely are. Whether it be stamina issues, whether it be a chin, there's definitely something with Buatsi they're hiding. G-Man, is your girlfriend shorter or taller than Carl Frampton? She's definitely taller. No, she's actually quite tall. She's not much shorter than me. She's about 5'8", 5'8", 5'9". So she's definitely taller. Plant says he's a second. Oh, come on. No, he's me. Yeah. 7 figures fighter. Me. Apps in his head. He is. You know, we can all dream, but in his head, no, definitely not. Who the hell has he fought? How do his numbers do on PBC? You know, do people even know who the hell Caleb Plant is? You know, obviously us hardcore fans know who he is. I knew about him before he fought Usyk, but seriously, like he's not, like most people would be like, who the hell is this guy fighting Canelo? I like Buatsi as a person. He's good offensively, but his defense is suspect. Yeah, he is. He really is. His defense leaves a lot to be desired. And you wonder, is he going to get, you wonder, is that it? Is it not just that his defense is bad, but maybe his chin's not the best either? So a bad defense mixed with a slightly weak chin equals bad news. 3-man throwing the dollar and tie-in boots. Yeah, people keep asking me about that. Jesus Christ. I gave him a super chat like for 5 or 10 quid, and he was like, gee, man, yeah, you give me donations, flashing the cash. What do you do with all this money? Where do you get this money from? I was like, Jesus. I'm giving you a super chat. Like, I wasn't expecting fucking, questions about this, that, and the other. Anthony Yard needs to retire, washed up fighter from Peacock's gym. I don't know about that. I think Yard, I reckon there's something, I don't know. There's something up with Anthony Yard in terms of what's going on behind the scenes. Because do you remember before New Year's, he was like, there's an announcement. And that kept getting pushed back. I reckon there's things going on behind the scenes with Anthony Yard. And I reckon that, I think, look, Tunde is not a bad coach. He's not a bad trainer, but I think he needs a little bit more stability in that corner. I do. I really do. I don't think he has a chin. That's why Buatsi doesn't fight anyone. If there's one thing I've noticed a lot about matchroom prospects, I suppose you could say the same for Queensbury, is when do you ever see them getting matched with punchers? You know, if you look at some of the up and cut, like I'll give you an example. Look at Anthony Fowler. Name me one puncher he's ever been in the ring with other than Scott Fitzgerald. And even Scott Fitzgerald's not a devastating puncher. But in all of his fights where he was up, name me one guy who he was put in there with who could bang. I can't think of any. I can't think of one puncher he's fought other than Scott Fitzgerald. And Scott Fitzgerald's not a devastating puncher that he's fought. And since that loss, has he fought a puncher? No. Now, you could say, why you want to put him in there with a puncher if he doesn't need to? No, if he can take a shot, be interesting. If he can dish it, can he receive it? You know? I've seen that with a lot of prospects coming up from Matchroom. When did they put, like, Kelly never fought a puncher until he fought Avanesian. You know? Why was that? Can't believe Eddie Hearn put Josh Kelly in with Avanesian, to be fair. Yeah, they were calling for, remember they were going to do that fight in 2018. I mean, Jesus Christ, he really would have got killed then, Josh Kelly, if he'd fought him in 2018. That would have been a car crash. That wouldn't have lasted long. That would not have lasted long. Josh Taylor has been the best match UK fighter on the come up in recent years. Yeah, I mean, the way they matched Josh Taylor. I remember one of the first memories I have of Josh Taylor was when he fought Dave Ryan. When he fought Dave Ryan for the Commonwealth title. And I know Dave Ryan was never exactly amazing, but when I seen like what Josh Taylor was doing, I was like, this guy's useful. This guy's going to be very good. And then against O'Hara Davis, I mean, Davis was just hyped so much by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom that you actually believed. Like, I'll admit it. I thought that fight would be more competitive than it actually is. I actually thought like this was a real pick 'em fight because I bought into some of the hype with O'Hara Davis. I was thinking him against Taylor, that's going to be that's going to be a real pick 'em fight. It was nothing like it, but just I guess that's what hype will do. And I think at the time, 2017, my kind of eye for talent wasn't as good as it is now. That's not me trying to sound good. It's just you can kind of tell with fight like Josh Kelly from the get go. I was like, no, this guy is nothing to write home about. But back then, like 2016, 2017, I kind of looked at those fighters and was like, oh, this guy looks good. I kind of bought into a lot of the hype around fighters back then. Whereas now, I have a bit of more experience in terms of like what I look for in fighters. So if that had happened today, I probably would have been like, oh, this is a mismatch. But back then, I bought into the hype a little bit. And I was like, I think O'Hara Davis could give this a good go. I think this is a 50-50. In reality, it was never. Lee Hallett is one of those ragdolls that's paid to lose the prospects by decision. His job is to lose on purpose. Let's promote the size. The prospect isn't worth promoting. Yeah, you know, you hear it from, you even hear it from Ty and Boot, that they go on these shows and in many ways they win, but they don't get the decision. Like, look at Kamil Sakalowski when he fought, I forget the guy's name, David something, forget his name. He won the fight. He won the fight, but he didn't get the decision. And a lot of these know that they don't get the decision prior to that. A lot of them do. Just check, got a text there. Big up. Unrivaled just texted me there. I think he's showing me his new intro. Unrival's going to be trying to get some more videos. I think he's doing 3 videos a day or a week. That's going to be good to see. Shout out to Unrivaled. Does anyone know the story with Amo Williams and his mental health problems? I know he was really slagging off Eddie Hearn and threatening him. Mate, honestly, I haven't given it an ounce. I haven't even given it an ounce. And like Nick says there, I haven't heard anything since it happened either. I haven't really paid two minds to it, to be honest with you. I want him to fight high-level opponents. Very exciting. Haven't given much of a look, to be honest with you, mate. I need to have a good look at some more of these prospects. I've been kind of slacking a bit on the old prospect watch. You know, I've been kind of slacking a bit on the old prospect watch. You consistently get. I'll admit that happened to me a few times when they came up. I was like Taylor, Kelly, and then it kind of struck me which was which. One's talented and one's flashy. Big up to G, man. Big up to you, man. The Postel fight with Taylor was great management. Yeah, that really, and that Postel fight was still useful. I know the scorecards for that fight were way too wide, but that was still a very good Victor Postel. The management for Josh Taylor has been fantastic. And when I watch Josh Taylor, like, look at what he did to Miguel Vasquez. Miguel Vasquez has been robbed twice in the UK. That fight was not a competitive fight. It was competitive, but it was not. Josh Taylor was winning the fight clearly before he stopped Vasquez. So it shows you the difference between Ritson and Davis to Josh Taylor. Am I Scottish, mate? Nah, mate. Jesus, no. Born and raised in Dublin in Ireland. Ain't no Scots. I don't know if is there any Scottish? I don't think so. I've never really done much background into like family history. So I don't think there's any Scottish, but definitely, yeah. 100% Irish. I might even do, no, I've already done them, but I might do a video tomorrow or the next day where I do a little throwback to the old audios with the Irish running, like the roads in Ireland running in the background. Do you remember them? Where they were all done like, Jesus, when were they done? A couple of years ago now. Whereas like me and my friends driving, and I'm just taking videos of the scenery in Ireland, just showing this, that, and the other. Might do a throwback video for that. First time watching the stream. It's all good, mate. It's all good. Yeah, I might do a throwback video like that tomorrow or something. I've already uploaded the 2 videos already. They'll just go live in the morning. But I might do one of them tomorrow as well if we get some news. Chuck in an old school, audio. And chuck in the old images of Ireland, The images of me driving through, the countryside. And it's really nice. It's really nice. Ireland's a great country. It is. It's a cool country. Taylor could be the UK's most complete fighter. Taylor has decent whiskers, can box at mid-range, close range, can punch. He's good southpaw. So much good with Josh Taylor. I would say he probably is one of the most complete fighters, if not the most complete fighter in the UK. Yeah, I'd agree with that statement. Welcome from the US. Big up to Brandon. Big up to Brandon every time. Oh, lad. Oh, no. Dave Allen versus Nathan Gorman. I see Nathan Gorman. Who is he calling out? Joe Joyce. I mean, all right. If you want to get absolutely lifted off the ground, you call out Joe Joyce, but he will beat the living crap out of you. Any recommendations on things to do or see when visiting Ireland? It depends where you're going, mate, to be honest with you. If you're going to Dublin, definitely got to visit the Guinness Storehouse. That's a given. You got to head to the Phoenix Park. Phoenix Park is lovely, absolutely lovely. You got the zoo there as well, Dublin Zoo. You got to head to the Phoenix Park. Where else would you go? See, I don't really go to these, even though I don't go to these places, but you got to go Guinness Storehouse, definitely. You got to just go through town. You got to go Temple Bar, get lunch or dinner in Temple Bar. Go into the city, it's nice. If you're outside of Dublin, I'd highly recommend a place called Glendalough. It's in Wicklow. It's a mountain. Well, it's not really. Well, yeah, I suppose it is a mountain. It's a very small one, but it's a lovely walk. I've gone up there a few times, and man, the view up there, it's incredible. It's just like, I'd say it's about 25 minutes outside Dublin if you're going like towards Wicklow. That's real nice. If you're not in Dublin, I'm biased about this place, but you want to go Carrick-on-Shannon. It's lovely. A little bit biased. It's really nice out there. That's in the west coast. You go there, you can go Galway then, and Galway is really nice as well. Like the kind of Tuam and places like that. But they'd be kind of the best places outside of Dublin. Been to Cork a few times. It's all right. It's all right, but it's all right. Other than that, they're kind of places I'd recommend. Thinking of taking my 9-year-old for a trip there. Where would I recommend for that? To be honest with you, would I say bring her to Dublin? Yes and no. Bring her to Dublin, yeah, because it's really nice. It is. There's like good parts, but like places like I said, Glendalough, the Hill of Tara, they're real nice. But I've been to all them places. They're real nice. Where else? There's a place in Longford which is like a family resort. Forget what it's called. Wait there a sec. Family. What's it called? Longford Family Park. Oh, something. Oh, Central Parks. I think is what it's called. Is that what it's called? I think it is. I think that's what it's called. Central Parks in Longford. Like that's a real kind of family place. So Longford is absolute. There's literally nothing there, by the way. It's literally like a tiny fraction of Dublin. So I wouldn't recommend staying there, but definitely drive up. It's only like an hour outside Dublin. There's nothing to do in other parts of Ireland apart from drink. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man. Not much to do in any other places. Tipperary. No. I've been there, but I wouldn't recommend going to it. There's nothing to do there. It's absolutely the people aren't exactly friendly in Tipperary. I'm just gonna from the people I've met, they're not exactly the friendliest. But I wouldn't recommend going there. I wouldn't recommend going there. Yeah, it is Centre Parks. I thought that. That's in Longford. There's nothing in Longford apart from Centre Parks. But that's kind of it. That's it. So that's kind of like Ireland 101. And I missed a few questions. There. Where are we going? Do I remember Seamus Casey middleweight who turned up to fight every week, ended up with 30 wins, 120, got KO 33 times, always had a go. The name certainly rings a bell. Seamus Casey rings a bell. Some of them journeymen, though, they will just keep. It's mad that some of them journeymen have actually better defense than British European level fighters. It's crazy. They just know how to survive. They're built to last. They know themselves. Get through the 4 rounds, get through the 6 rounds, and we're good to go. Like whenever you see those journeymen getting stopped, a lot of them are in 8-rounders or in 10-rounders. That's normally when you see them getting stopped. If it's the 4 and 6 rounders, they know how to get through them. Everyone has had a Guinness in Temple Bar. Yeah, Temple Bar do nice Guinness. I'll admit that. They do really nice Guinness. I like an ale Guinness as well from time to time. Wouldn't be my go-to drink. My go-to drink nowadays is Smittix. Holy shit. You could drink Smittix and never get a hangover. That's like my go-to drink nowadays. Because every time I've drank them, I've never once had even a hint of them. I never really got them anyway. But Jesus, no, that's my go-to drink now. Guinness is still nice, don't get me wrong. Put a bit of blackcurrant in it, and it's nice as well. But nah, I'll stick with that. Ike Buatsi versus Joe Joyce. You got to give it to the president, man. Ike Buatsi was a hell of a fighter. You know, he could punch, he could throw a lot of punches, he took a good shot. He just mentally just went off the boil. He went off the rails mentally. And then he was released from jail, and I think he didn't he break his probation and he ended up going back? Because he was released in 2016 and he was looking for a fight with Andy Ruiz. And then didn't he break the probation, or didn't he do something with his probation and ended up going back in? What's the call-in link? I don't do call-ins mainly on this channel, man, to be honest with you. I don't do them. I know Addy does the StreamYard call-in links. I don't. As you can see, I got the Ainsley Harriet thing going there, so I don't do. Do I have a call-in link? I could drop it in the chat, but I don't tend to do them a lot, man, to be honest with you. I'm not doing one tonight because I don't even have any setup. I have a one-way mic, so I can't even hear what anyone's saying. I will eventually get back to doing them. StreamYard links and all that. It's just the problem with leaving it in the chat is you don't know who the hell's going to join. And I've had some of them go wrong. You know, I've had some of those like little chats go wrong in times of time. And I just don't like that. I don't really like that. So if I do them, I'm not doing them tonight, but I will eventually get back to dropping links in the panels. I will eventually get back to doing it. I'm worried G-Man is on the Blue Wicket and the lads' haircut parties. Ah, yeah, big up to the lads' haircut parties. Definitely have to get one next week, lad. Definitely get out to one of them next week. Of course, you got to love the old haircut parties. That's 69 in the chat, 41 likes. If you could, while you're here, just smash the like button. And big up to Ty Boot every time. Calling me out for giving him a super chat. Man, big up to Ty Boot. That was funny as fuck. Yeah, G-Man Boxing keeps donating. Yeah. Yeah, I do, because he's funny as fuck. I don't mind giving him the super chat. You know? Give him the old super chat and give him like the £5. That's why I got the intro video from. Yeah, that's where I got the intro video from. He killed, did he? I know I thought it was assault, or he assaulted his wife or something like that. I thought that. Am I doing well? Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm definitely doing all right now, so I am. I'm definitely doing all right now. I only need only one, but she's enough. Believe me, she's plenty. G-Man doing well. Doing well. But yeah, we're at this, what, an hour and 18? I might call it quits here. I'm glad that I got this second one in, because the first one absolutely was, that first one went tits up real quick because the feckin' Wi-Fi. But I'm thinking of doing it here. Buatsi was arrested when he left prison. Yeah, I think the problem with that is, right, he was in jail for how many years? Nearly 20 years? Nearly 20 years. So I think with a lot of them guys, they can't adjust to life outside prison. If you think of it like that, like they probably can't actually get over what it's like to live a free life. So maybe for them, they feel comfier in prison, because he was only out. He was literally only out when he was put back in. So maybe it's a case of he just felt that he couldn't adjust to living life the way he used to. And obviously, when you leave prison, you're always kind of looked at, if you know what I mean, like, because they still monitor you when you leave prison. Big up to Timmy Neal, and every time, man. Big up to you and Mr. S. Top of the evening to you. Never mind, Derek. I'm washed. Ty Boot, don't know what to make of him. Very odd. I find him amusing as hell. I find Ty Boot extremely funny. Like the stuff he comes out with, I just have to laugh, and it makes me laugh. So I'm happy to keep watching his videos. I just find them extremely, extremely funny. I really do. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've always had a bit of a dark sense of humor, but oh man, I find Ty Boot extremely funny. Probably missed your opinion on it, but what do you make of Fury's not backing Billy Joe's dad? I watched Chris Andre's video on this, and big up to Chris Andre. Big up to Chris Andre. He reckons that maybe Tyson Fury, it could be several things. I reckon it could be him wanting to keep face. We know what Fury is like these days. He's really not speaking out of turn. And Chris Andre reckons maybe seeing Billy Joe get pulled out, maybe Fury thought, oh, that's not the way we do it. I don't know. It was interesting, though. It was interesting to see. Maybe Fury just thought of his own image and doesn't want to be seen, getting involved and stuff like that, because the last few years, Fury's been really, pretty about his image. Big up to Jono every time. Salute the Big Boys Boxing. Excellent channel, by the way. Does a lot of good work on the heavyweights. Salute the Big Boys Boxing. How long until Adrian Broner is one of these? In jail? Oh, Jesus, man. I don't know. So, Adrian Broner is just asking for a WTF video. I have one ready to go. I just need to record it. I'll do it this weekend. And it's not Adrian Broner, but he is just asking for a WTF video. He is just asking for one to get made. Seriously, he is just asking for a WTF video to get made. You have to have a dark sense of humor watching Ty and Boot. I've always had that. Like, some of the things he says, like, I really do just piss myself laughing. I've always had that. Always had a bit of a dark sense of humor. Like Eddie Murphy in his heyday, I loved. Some of his stands were just funny as hell. I want to see Spike O'Sullivan back on a decent promoter. He's a good guy. Yeah, he's back in the end of May. He's back in the 6th round at the end of May in Belgium. A lot of time for Spike. Interview. He was the first guy I ever interviewed in this channel. A lot of time for him. Spike's a very, very good fella. Decent guy. So a lot of time for Spike. 68. Smash the like button on the way in or out. If you could, yeah, I'd really, really appreciate it. Do you agree Billy Joe would smash Demetrius Andre? Honestly, no. I think that Demetrius Andre would win that fight. Even prior, if they had met in 2018, I'd pick Demetrius Andre to win the fight then. I think that stylistically, Demetrius Andre would give Billy Joe fits. It wouldn't be entertaining, make no mistake about that, but I definitely think Andre would give Billy Joe fits. You watched all 3 of them? Oh, man. I watched the first one, got through the second one, then fell asleep with the third one. Now, then I fell asleep during the third one. No, I fell asleep during the third one. Demetrius Andre or Ty and Boot. I love them lives. They are funny as hell. Just the stuff he comes out with. Holy shit. I still couldn't believe that. I just couldn't believe that when I gave him the super chat, he ends up calling me and he's like, G man, I see you. I'm like, I was tempted to say, you see me on other people's channels, but go and check fucking my channel out. Go and have a look at mine. I'll big up the Penny. Take care as well. Billy Joe's heart ain't in it. Ingle gave up on him. Couldn't be arsed with the hassle. I remember, but like Billy Joe, when he trained with Adam Boot, he said too much temptation. I couldn't stay in London. So you know Billy Joe, like he needs to. He doesn't take it. He takes things serious, but he's just too easy. Just to, you know what I mean. Like he's too easy. Like if he's in a training camp and there's temptation around him, he's going for the temptation every time. That's why in Sheffield he was miles away from all of it. That's why I think we saw the best of Billy Joe with Dom Ingle. They've all just been put back up on YouTube. Yeah. Matt Ty is funny as hell. Literally, he is funny as hell. I'd gladly watch all his lives. What's your thoughts on Taylor Ramirez if you haven't already? My thoughts are Josh Taylor's going to win the fight. Probably on points, but it's going to be definitely very, very close. I'm not seeing Josh Taylor win this fight comfortably. I'm not seeing him dominate Jose Ramirez. I'm seeing this fight going to be very close, very competitive. It's going to be an absolute... Put it like this. These guys won't need feeling out. These guys are going to be swinging from the opening bell. They both tend to fight a lot. They do their best work at close range. I think Josh Taylor's work is a bit more neater. I think both guys can punch. Both guys can take a decent shot. Both guys can be a bit... Like, Josh Taylor's defense is quite good. So is Ramirez. But they can both get caught. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I just think that Josh Taylor has more variety to his game. I think that he has extra gears. And that's basically what I think. I think that he just has extra gears. And I think that's going to see him through a very close competitive fight. Shoulda World, yeah, I remember that when he was on about chatting up a fat girl in a nightclub, and she's seen that the Shoulda World champion. But whatever gets you off, man. Whatever you fancy. Whatever you fancy. I really like whatever gets you off. Whatever you fancy. Can't believe Alan and now Little Boat are saying they want to come back for very big fights at the end of their career. That's Dave Allen, though. I think with Dave Allen, it's more so he just doesn't want to stay away from the limelight. You know, and whatever the amount of say the limelight is, I think that maybe trading fighters and seeing them get attention maybe had him think, I want some of this. Had to laugh. Tyen Boot didn't get offended when someone asked him about his shit fuck. But he got annoyed when someone suggested he's autistic. You're looking in the wrong direction, Ty. He comes out with some strange ones. Do you know that? He really does. I just found it funny. He was like, he didn't call me out, but he was like, "You're giving me money. Why are you giving me money?" I'm like, I'd just take it if I were you, mate. Like if someone gives a super chat, I'm not gonna ask, oh, you've given me like 2 super chats the last day. Why are you doing that? I'm just like, thank you, appreciate that. Appreciate that. With the fat bird he was on about. Do you remember in one of his very first live streams, someone asked him about that? I remember this well because I pissed myself laughing when he said it, and he was like, "Would you fight Crawford's wife?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'd fight her, but it'd have to be at a catch weight. She definitely have the weight advantage on me. But then if she brought Crawford in, then different story. He's quite good, isn't he? Yeah, she definitely have the advantage if Crawford helped her." Does own need Kellerman and Paulie? Froch is a good pundit, but seems yeah. Froch is definitely better than Macklin, in my opinion. But they need to get. You see, the problem is they're doing it for DAZN UK, so they're not going to make the UK model better than the US model, unless they get Kellerman and Paulie in. Unless they get Kellerman to take over Chris Mannix, please do, please do. Just saying, please do. Froch is all right. He's one of them. He's all right. He's all right. I don't. He's all right. Nothing against Carl Froch that much. He's all right. Yeah, Carl Froch, and I always moan about his scorecards. That's the funny thing. I always moan that Carl Froch's scorecards are way off, but he had a bit. Chris Mannix had Billy Joe way ahead. Gareth A. Davis had Billy Joe way ahead. Old Tyen, they were better, but Tyen Boot, you can tell himself he's holding back because he knows what YouTube is like. He knows if you slip up, they will take your video down, and they'll. He's always keeping it really, He's always keeping it, a little bit there because he knows what happened last time. Who's out there for Skyboxing to continue after Matchroom Live? Sauerland probably. I don't think they'll sign an exclusive deal. I think it will be a variety of people. So I think they'll get like Sauerland in. They probably won't get MTK, but they'll get like Sauerland in. They might get like someone like Dave Coldwell, someone like that. They get people like that in. They won't just get like one specific promoter. I don't think they'll do that again. But who knows? Like Adam Smith has been commentating on darts a lot lately, so I've been told. So I hope they don't do this, but they might even bin boxing, or they might just do a greatly reduced schedule. If we could be talking maybe even one fight every 2 or 3 months on Sky. And guys like Adam Smith will do other commentary for other sports. He's been doing darts a lot, which I find bizarre. And what I find more bizarre is, again, like this is the difference between dart fans and boxing fans. Dart fans really like Adam Smith, amazingly. And boxing fans, majority of them, really don't like Adam Smith on commentary. So it goes to show the difference in the two guys. And there's believe you me, hardcore darts fans and hardcore boxing fans are absolutely like they're polar opposite for the most part anyway. G-Man, I'll pick up to Randy. Sorry I'm late. Any news on Joshua Fury? Apparently August 14th. As I said in that video the other day, man, wake me up when we get there. Wake me up when we get there. I'm not going to do a video on it. I couldn't give a toss anymore. I want, once that's announced, we're good to go. Until then, I just couldn't give a toss. I've heard it enough. I'm just waiting for it to get announced. Adam Smith was finished after the Bellew. Oh, that was so pathetic. I mean, that was just pathetic. That Adam Smith was finished. Like, that was what, 2018? I was sick of him long before that. But that was the killing blow. That comment he made about Bellew's tattoo was just sad. Sky Boxing kept boxing alive in the UK. When the UK boxing wasn't in its heyday, Sky were putting on promoters like Frank Warren, Frank Maloney, Dave Caldwell, who else? They put on other promoters as well. They all put them on Sky. So it was a variety of promoters on Sky. And I felt you got better commentary because they weren't as biased. You know, they were just kind of impartial because they didn't have one stake in a fight, or they had all different promoters. So it was better back then. Maybe we'll get something similar again, but with the way boxing is, like, we don't have as many promoters because you know what has killed the small hall scene. So a lot of these up and coming promoters, they're not able to do it. They might get Mick Hennessy might go and put a few fights on Sky. Is it this weekend or next weekend? Cheeseman versus Carlos Molina. That's an interesting fight. No, it's next weekend. Cheeseman versus Molina. That's interesting. That's an interesting little scrap. Molina versus Cheeseman. I'd favor Ted Cheeseman. I think Carlos Molina has seen better days years ago. So I'd say Ted Cheeseman would take that. But that's an interesting little scrap. I'll watch that fight. Cheeseman versus Molina. DAZN should get Mikey. Mikey Garcia. I've not really. I suppose I probably have listened to him, and I just forgot. If you could. And if you could again, it really helps out the channel. It helps it out more than you know. Because it recommends the channel more. It gets it pushed up in the algorithm. So it really, truly helps out the channel a lot. Do you think Usyk can really shake up the heavyweight division? I do, yeah. But I'm kind of scratching my head as to why because he's weighing in at 230-something pounds now. Excuse me. I'm kind of scratching my head about that. I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, the whole good thing about him is he's lighter, so he's more mobile, he's more agile, he's more stamina. If you gain an extra stone, you're taking all that away. I don't get it. And big up to Chris, broken nose boxing every time. Oh, was I saying Cheeseman? Apologies. If I said Cheeseman, I meant Egerton. Yeah, it's Sam Egerton versus Carlos Molina. If I was saying Cheeseman, apologies. Yeah, no, Cheeseman's not fighting. It's Sam Egerton versus Carlos Molina. It's a good scrap. I mean, Molina has always been tricky. He's not much of a puncher, but he's always been tricky. Against Cheeseman, though, I think Cheeseman, God knows how he's still. I mean, Cheeseman's what? He's younger than me. I think Cheeseman's a year younger than me, but he seems like he's been around forever. Like, Cheeseman, I think, is 26. I'm 27. And he's been around forever. Like, it's 5 years this year since he fought Frankie Gavin. And I was thinking, he looks like he's in wars then. And you fast forward 5 years. I mean, Jesus Christ. Cheeseman's been around forever, it seems. Do you think Fitzgerald can get back to form? No, to be honest, I don't think he has. I don't think he has at all. I think that Scott Fitzgerald is probably past it at this stage. He's probably past that. I think he's let a little bit too much go. And he didn't sound right in that interview with IFL after. I think there's a bit too much gone there. I think there's a bit too much gone there for Scott Fitzgerald. And I like Fitzgerald, but I think there's too much going on there. I'm the same with you. I've got the motivation to make it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, when I thought we were going to get it announced in kind of March time, I was doing videos on it, and I was thinking, here, we'll get this announced. But now it's like, I've heard it all before. Eddie Hearn says one thing, Bob Arum says another, Frank Warren says another. At the end of the day, my way of looking at it now is just, when it gets announced, I'll do a video on it. But until then, I don't want to do a video on it, record it, edit it, and then something else comes up, and then something else comes up, and then we're waiting, and then this. It's just like, no, man, no. I was kind of thinking they'd announce it on the weekend, where, like, that's a weekend just gone because the big event. But now it's like, whenever it's announced, it'll get announced, and then I'll do a video on it. For now, it's just a lot of he says, she says, and I kind of find I'm repeating myself a lot because I'll always be like, oh, I think this will happen. And I'm just like, nah, I'll wait until it's good to go. And then we're good to go. And then we'll talk about it. Radio Raheem's interviews are much better. Yeah, I like Radio Raheem. Big up. Always a big fan of Radio Raheem. Michelle Joy Phelps, nah. Some of her interviews are alright. IFL, I don't really watch a lot of IFL interviews these days. Like, I never subscribe to them ever. And IFL interviews, the Boxing Social be good. I like Boxing Social. They'd be my go-to place for interviews. You know, I like Rob Tebbert. I like Boxing Social. They're my go-to place. Pheno Boxing, obviously. I like Pheno Boxing for obvious reasons. Seconds Out, Ali Drew was a good interviewer. Oh yeah, Ali Drew was legit. So they're the kind of people I like watching. And I mean, they genuinely are good interviewers, to be fair. To be fair to them, they are good interviewers. Wake me up when we get there. That's what I said in that thumbnail. I said, wake me up when we get there. And then I'll talk about AJ Fury. Until then, I'm not going to make any videos on it. I'm not going to talk about it. When it gets announced, I'll talk about it, because I was doing I was looking through like some of the streams I do and some of the videos. There's so many AJ Fury videos. I was like, what the hell? And for all them to not get an announcement, I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. Boxing Social is good because you know the question is going to be good. Yeah, they don't hold back. Like Rob Tebbert, when he grilled Adam Smith about the price hike in pay-per-views, he was not letting that go. And that's how journalism should be. Like the whole point of it is you ask difficult questions. And if they're backtracking or they're contradicting yourself, you point that out. I think for a lot of times you just don't get that. So, you know, that's why I like Rob Tebbert. A lot of time for Rob Tebbert. You know, I've had chats with him in the past, and, you know, cool guy, legit. I like Rob Tebbert. He's a cool guy. No issues. I big up the broken nose. Did you pay-per-view? No, man. Well, in terms of paying for it, I watched it on DAZN. I pay my subscription. $1.99. Ain't no one can be complaining about that. Ain't nobody complain about that. So I got to watch that fight. Watched it on my TV. It was grand. I didn't get to bed till like 6:15 though, because again I recorded the video. I was still buzzing from watching it, so I didn't get much. I got 3 hours sleep from Saturday night to Sunday morning, because I went to bed at like 6:15, and I was awake at 9:30. And I was like, I'm the kind of guy, when I'm awake, I'm just awake. So I wasn't going to try going back to sleep. So I was awake. You actually made it 24 hours. Wanted to prove to my girlfriend you could make something creative. No, I wasn't with anyone on the weekend. I was like, I kind of say, like, I have these dates booked where I know boxing's on and know something's on. So it's like, there we go. There we go. I was like, I know boxing. I'm like, no plans being made this weekend. I know boxing's on. So I'm like, I'm staying home. There's a reason why yeah, there is. There is a reason for that. I think Rob Tebbert even alluded to that. And he was like, when do you ever see me interview Frank Warren? That's the problem. Like, Rob Tebbert is so good, but he asked the good questions, but then you piss off these promoters and they're like, you're not coming back. You got to bed at 6 feet. Life of a YouTuber. It is. But I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it all. And the funny thing is, right, when I first started making YouTube videos and I was having to watch these like fights and give analysis on it, I was kind of at the start, I was like, this is a bit weird. And I was like, I'm not watching these for the cracking. I'm watching these for thing. But then after a while, like now, like if I'm with me friends or something like that, if I'm with herself and we're watching fights, although she never watches fights with me. So that's a bad analogy, because she doesn't really like boxing. I'm just watching, I'm thinking, oh, it's weird not to be making a video now. It's weird to be making a video. Before I go, yeah, he's going nowhere. I've seen a few of Mick Hennessy's Jr.'s fights. He's garbage, man. He's going nowhere. He lost to that Jamie Stewart guy, the guy who got battered by Florian Marku. He had a draw with someone else. He's not really going anywhere, to be honest with you. In the nicest way. Definitely not UG, man. Throwing the cash about. How many DAZN subs do you have? I don't know, man. DAZN never gave me a penny. I've never got a penny from DAZN. I don't think I've ever had a promoter reach out to me. Not really. I think I've had managers retweet a few interviews like Steffi Bull, but I've never had a promoter reach out to me, to be fair. Not yet, anyway. I didn't believe Saunders earned Canelo's respect in the fight early. Saunders looked a bit all over the place early. Then he warmed into the fight. You didn't crash until it took you 2 days to recover. No, I was all right. I was actually all right. I was gonna go to bed early and wake up for it, but then I kind of was so pepped up and buzzed for the fight. I was like, I'll stay up. I'll stay up. And yeah, anyone. Look, I know some people are a bit strapped for cash in the minute, but £2 a month, it's money well spent. Can't watch Frank Warren interviews. Do you know something? I actually like watching his interviews. I think it's funny. It's like a grumpy old man complaining. Like, I used to love the interviews with Coogan when Eubank Jr. was like on ITV, and it was funny. It's just so petty and grumpy. He's like, bullshit. I still disagree with you. Plant is better than Billy Joe. I think, no, man, I've never been keen on Plant. I think Plant will get absolutely bashed against Canelo. Just Caleb Plant's never really done it for me. Caleb Plant, whenever I've watched him, like, yeah, he's the level of opponent ain't great. I think again, if he fights Canelo and he's saying he's worth 7 figures, all right, we'll see how that goes. I think what was the Sarah Palin said, hand that down for you. But I think he'll get battered against Canelo. Do you believe Canelo will fight in the UK? I see your channel from Addy Depot. Big up to Addy. Big up to my man Addy. Big up to him. Yeah, man. Shout out to him. I've been on his channel, 2 or 3 times now. I remember just before, you know what happened. I was actually over with him in his flat in London. It was actually cool. We went over and filmed on a Saturday. It was great crack. I wish I could. The problem is we were like saying like we're going to do this and we're going to do this moving forward, and yeah, that didn't happen. That didn't go well. Not our faults, but yeah, we had so many plans for that. And yeah, I look because Addy's getting the studio now. So if I'm ever with him again, I can always say I got to do it in the gaff. I got to do it in the house. I got to do it in the house and the studio. And I'll big up to Addy every time. A lot of time for Addy. I have a lot of time for him. It's been good to us. It's been good to me. There's definitely is Canelo spot sort of beat every British fighter around. Yeah, he pretty much has. Yeah, he let me sit in the green chair. When I seen it, like, oh, this is all off air, like off camera. And he was, do you want to sit? And I was like, yeah, I'll sit in the green chair. It's actually comfy. It's a really comfy chair. It's a really comfy little green chair he has. But it's actually not little. But I can always say now I sat in the green chair. Like, that's one of like the life goals ticked. I can always say to my missus, you see that green chair? Yeah, I sat in that. She was like, it's just the green chair. It looks as you need to understand the history of it. You just, that's why I'm like, don't talk about boxing. I'm just like, you don't get it. You don't get the meaning of all that. You know, it's like you when you tell me about like minis and stuff. It's just like it's a fucking mini. But hey, yo, Addy is a G, gives his honest opinion, who he's backing, and holds his hands up when he gets it wrong. That's it. That's legit. That's the best way. You see, some people will always like, oh, if I get this prediction wrong, but many times I've not even on YouTube where like someone said got a prediction wrong or something. They've been like, but it's like, come on, just you got it wrong and that's it. Like I've got loads of predictions wrong. Like I thought Loma would beat Tiafimo. I thought Bentley would beat Felix Cash. Boy, was I wrong with that. Boy, did that not go well. And I was big in Denzel Bentley up so much. Boy, did that go wrong. That really went tits up. So, but I say it, I got it wrong. Nothing I can do. I backed the wrong horse. You know. And boy, that Denzel Bentley one really that really hit me. I remember I was watching that fight and I was like, shit. I was like, Cash looked great, but I was like, shit. I really stuck my head in there. I was like, Bentley definitely, no doubt, money to be made on Bentley. And then I was like, shit. he goes and does that. But lads, I only wanted to do an hour and a bit. I've gone an hour and 45. I'm definitely ending it here because I'm going to watch some telly. I'm going to watch some TV. Well, I don't watch TV. I watch documentaries on YouTube, but they're the same basic thing. The amount of smug comments I get when I get a prediction wrong, like the commenters somehow knew, yeah, I've been lucky enough, like any prediction videos I've made, I've actually been really lucky that if I've got it wrong, people have been like, yo, it is what it is. But yeah, you'll always get people like, you'll always get people who will nitpick and try and find the worst. At the end of the day, I just take that with a pinch of salt, man. Like if people's comments bothered me, and to be fair, I don't get many bad comments, it would just be like, I wouldn't do YouTube if it bothered me. I don't. It's just like, that's your opinion. Move on. I just keep smiling. Simple. I just keep smiling. I just think like, look how much good I have. Not even on YouTube, just outside of it. And I'm like, yeah, they can say what they want. They can say what they want. They can call, like, as you know, a certain fighter, KO'd, as I call him, called me every name under the sun. You know what? Let him do it. If it makes him feel better, let him. He can call me a cunt and whatever, but I just leave that. They had a right touch, filmed the AJ documentary, booked by ESPN. Yeah, man. Addy knows what's going on. No, I must ask him about that. But lads and lassies, for now, I'm going to leave us here. Cheers to Graham. Big up to Chris. Have a nice weekend. Of course, I will. I always have good weekends. Have any plans this weekend? Not really. It's a loner of a weekend. I had cash to KO. Yeah, well, at least you picked the right winner. I was bigging up Benza Bentley the whole way through. I ended up with egg in my face, but it is what it is. So, lads and lassies, enjoy watching it. Defo going to sub. Man, big up to JK. Big up to you, man. Hope you enjoy the channel. And like I said, I've got videos. When's my next live? Right. I normally stream on Sundays and a day during the week. But this Sunday, I'm recording a WTF video. For those who don't know, they're like career reviews. They're like career reviews. They're kind of like career reviews, but I do a lot of other things in them as well. So if I'm recording a WTF video, depends how much time I have, I'll probably stream on Sunday as well. But believe you me, those WTF videos take a long time to make. So between that and streaming, I might not have time, but we'll see. If he's cut on the way out, as Nick says, smash the like button. A big up to you as well, Joe. Take care. Peace to you. Glad to have you guys locked in here as well. And cheers to the booker. Big up to everyone. Big up to everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. For now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. You'll get. I've got videos planned for tomorrow, so you'll see them then. For now, have a great evening. Have a great night. All the best, people. Hope you all have a great time. Or hope you all have a great evening, great night, and a happy Friday. Big up.